Hi, this is Sarah, the Stitchin Mommy, and it's Monday, December 5th, 2022, here for my weekly cross-stitching update. And I got a good amount done this week, didn't quite get all my goals met, but considering how busy the week was, I'm pretty happy with what I got done. So, and I have fun plans for this week. So, first off, I'm going to do the giveaway draw for Fall is in the Air that I did last week on a whim. So I did the YouTube comment picker for the word fall from last week's video. There are 84 comments. So let's see. Jelly bean. In northern Utah, fall is long gone, it seems. So I have heard that from people where it's like, the snow has come, it is officially winter. Here it is still fall. We're pretty far south. But yay, congratulations, Jelly Bean. Let me know, stitchinmommy7@gmail.com, or you can private message me on Instagram or Etsy to give me your mailing address, and I'll try to get this out to you real soon so you can enjoy it. Although, maybe you'll have it ready by next fall, since it's already not fall where you are. I also got a Christmas card from Charmin over at Please Don't Squeeze My Stitchin. So thanks, Charmin. This is super cute. And that'll go in my Christmas card bucket now that I've shared it here. Is that the kitty? I think I heard Smokey. Let me go see, and then I'll get started on progress. All right, that was Smokey. So she's in here now. She was sleeping on the top bunk in my kids' room. So I just figured she'd be happy there, but she must have heard me talking and wanted to come be a part of things. No. Yeah, you gotta say hi to your fans. Okay. Travel stitching. Hi. Here she is. I did work on my Wander With Me a little bit yesterday. Not as much as I would have liked because I had trouble with this mouse. I got one paw finished and went to do the mouse, and it pretty much matches my fabric. So I kind of made the mouse tan because the little toy mice that you'll get for cats to play with are often tan. And then I'm like, well, maybe I'll make it gray. And then I started to work on that. And I'm gonna make this kitty gray to match Smokey, so that would be like a lot of gray stuff here at the bottom. And gray tends to be rats, not mice. I was like, well, maybe I'll do white. So I settled on, I haven't done it yet, but I settled on probably a white mouse with a pink ear and pink tail, maybe even too. So to look more like a real mouse. So that was kind of a complicated, a lot of ripping out. I have 2 stitches in my mouse. But here is where I got to. This is 27 count Linda, 1/1 full cross. I got 1 paw added, including a little purple pad there, and 2 stitches in my mouse. So next week, I think I should also only have 1 paw to do, so then hopefully I can get the mouse done next week. And just make it a pink and white mouse. She's back here giving herself a bath. You can't really see her, but I like it when she camps out like right here, because then you can see her while I'm talking. In case I bore you, you can watch her. This bag has seen better days. There we go. All right. I also worked on my Year in Stitches by the Victoria Sampler a little bit while in the car with my kids, or waiting for my kids. I don't feel like I did a ton. I feel like I was either distracted with other things like texts and emails and stuff, or just whatnot. But I am working in September. I would like to get this done this year, but I don't see that being possible with the other things I have planned. So hopefully it won't take too long to finish in the new year. Probably maybe still as a car project. So here it is all together. And here is where I got to on September. This is 28 count Dove Gray Monaco, 2/2 full cross, except for a few bits of 1/1 and the specialty stitches. So this, I have these leaves started. That's another thing that made it. I was changing colors a lot on this too with these leaves that were this piece, you have to pick your own colors. So they have, the chart is colored, so then you kind of match up their vision for the piece with the threads you picked and kind of go with it. Change it if you want to. I chose a palette of colors way back at the beginning, and my default setting, I think, is more spring and summer colors. So trying to find enough different yellows and oranges and, you know, browns for a fall piece with what I had picked, it was tricky. So just choosing what I wanted to do was wasting my time. And then I started the leaves with the dark orange and didn't like it and went to the light orange. So I ripped out a little bit, you know, stuff like that tends to waste time too. But I did get a little bit done. And yeah, so hopefully I'll make a little bit more progress on this week. I think all my main color decisions are done. The rest of it should be pretty straightforward. So hopefully I can just stitch this week and make some progress on that. Because there's only 2 more weeks of school before Christmas break. So we'll see how much I can get done on that before the end of the year. I did work on Mill Hill Monday, this past Monday, but I don't think I will be this week or today, because I want to focus on April Fairy, and I'll talk about that later. But I did work on this a little bit, and I realized my original intention was to start working on these like outline border stitches to kind of outline the honeycomb and have structure for the flowers and whatnot. And when I got in there, I realized most of the border stitches that are these like outline honeycomb bits are beads. I was like, well, and I didn't necessarily want to do the fill-in yet. I thought about switching over and doing the flowers but the outline of the flowers is also beads, and those symbols were the easiest to see, and so therefore the easiest to do first to put structure in the piece. So I thought, well, I'll just go with my original thought and do the outlines and include the beads. So I know not everybody likes to do beading as they go, but it worked best for me. And so I did only 1 length of thread, so not a whole lot. And so some of it is beads and some of it's just cross stitch. It was all the same thread called for, because the Mill Hill kits call for the beads to be stitched in specific colors of thread. And so I just paid attention, okay, which bead symbol goes with the thread symbol of the same color, and then did all of those and just kind of followed them around. So this is where this is. And I just did 1 length of thread up there in the corner with they were petite beads, and the thread that was called for those beads was the same as the symbol for all these extra light yellows. So I did it all. I just kept going, and if it was a regular, and since it followed the lines, it was easy to just keep following the lines and just put a bead on if I needed it, and don't put a bead on if I don't. And that's what I did. So I'll continue doing that possibly next week. We'll see. Because it is Christmas season, so I have other things I'm doing in my bonus time, but I do enjoy this. So I only did I do anything on this one? I don't think I did. I don't think I worked on, let me check. No, I didn't work on Under the Sea at all, because I ended up not talking with my sister on Friday, and we didn't have time to watch stuff as a family. So there was really no opportunity to work on this one. So hopefully this week I'll get a little bit more time on that one. I did have a different bonus stitching piece during the week. In the coming year, I'm going to use my letter fairies for my nieces as bonus stitching. But this Christmas, this December, I thought I want to work on this for my mom. So I pulled out and started the Christmas sweater series, the Joy one. This is by Stitch with Coffee on Etsy, and it was perfect for my mom. So I'm not doing this bottom plaid, but I'm going to do all the rest of it probably. And I got, just working on this a little bit every day, I got the sweater done and then started on the kitty cat. So this week I will not be working on this as my bonus stitching, but I'll resume that next week, hopefully, and then hopefully get this done to finish for a little ornament for Christmas. So here's where I got to. This is on 25 count prim vintage cloth and 1/1 full cross. And I don't know, you can see a little bit of sparkle there. I did all of the sweater is Etoile, except for the Joy, which is Whisper. So it's a little fuzzy. I'm doing this 1/1. So the called for was to use Etoile and beads. The Joy was supposed to be beads, and there was supposed to be some beads along the edge of the sweater. And I didn't want to use beads on this because it's too small. So I ended up with Whisper with the Joy. And it poofs up because it's a little bit thicker than DMC. So it worked perfectly. It's like puffy and fuzzy. And then the bottom, I just used some blue Etoile that matched the blue in the top part of the sweater, kind of brought it all together and instead of beads, and I think it's just fine, and it's all sparkly and looks like a sweater, in person especially. So just one length of thread on the cat, so there's a lot more of the cat to do, and then all the bits and bobs, the socks and knitting yarn and the little garland at the top, all of that is left to do still too. So there's a good amount left, but I'm happy with that. A nice start, especially just working on it a little bit here and there in the afternoons. So that'll take a little hiatus this week while I she's sitting on my pile here, taking a nap here on my pile. So I'm gonna take a break from this week, but hopefully I'll bring it back out next week and knock that out, because I guess that's the only time I have left, huh? No, I have 2 weeks. This week and then 2 more weeks before Christmas. So that should be enough time. I think that's all the random. Let's go with, oh yeah. I did also work on, let's pull. Oh, I forgot to bring my quilting up here. I'll have to go get that. But I worked on His Name is Jesus this week. I was able to talk with Desiree, the Addicted Stitcher, again, and we pull this out every time we visit. And I got another little phrase finished. This is by Joyful Expressions, and I'm doing mine on 28 count ivory Lugana 1/1 full cross with some Victorian motto threads that I just had from I was in the threads of the month several years ago, so I did this Lord of Lords and super happy with that. I'm kind of doing my pick from the top down, left to right, you know, whichever phrase is next, the next highest, I'll do that one next. So that's, we're getting close though. The bottom is, you know, coming. This is on track to be finished this coming year. And then we have plans to start another piece together. His Name is Jesus by Donna Gelsinger. It's a Heaven and Earth Designs. Just kidding. It's not, He is risen. His Name is Jesus. That's what this one is. He is risen. I'll show you that. So that'll be our new work on together piece. I have the full one. She has the mini. So we'll pull this out when we visit next year, once His Name is Jesus is finished. So we'll always have one going. And this is one that we can work on whenever. It doesn't have to be only when we're visiting, like His Name is Jesus is, because full coverage is so big. If one of us wants to move ahead, it's fine. So that's kind of what we've established already. So I'll have to show my quilting later at the end. I'll go get it. But my main project at the beginning of the week was Gracious Era Gold Dimensions kit. And I worked on this for 3 days, and I'm pretty happy with what I got done. So I had just a center start and worked my way up, maybe only 1 day on it last year. So this time I kind of worked my way to the corner because I like to work top to bottom, left to right. So, and then kind of was filling in some buildings as I came across here. A lot of it was half stitches, so it went pretty fast. This is on the kit Ada, so 16 count, dove gray, and here it is. Pretty happy with that. So that's 3 days, and actually a little bit on the 4th day just to finish my thread that I didn't get done on the day before. So all I had last time was these light poles here. So I did a length of sky to get over to the building, did a couple of these little ones, and kind of skipped on the white up over to this corner, and then was filling in, picking the symbols top to bottom, left to right along the top, and just kept filling in, and then stitched wherever they took me. So that's pretty cool. Happy with that. So next time I bring this out, whenever that is, you know, I'll pick that symbol and do that wherever it goes, and then this one, you know, and keep going, probably getting over into the sky and the tree as well at that point, depending on how long I work on it. If it's just a day, it might still be in the building, but yay, so that's good. So whip go goal is accomplished on that one. Then I pulled out April Fairy, which was my another whip go piece for November by Heaven and Earth Designs. I'm working on this one diagonal, kind of a stitch by stitch, very methodical process. And while it is slower, it's really fun and soothing. So I am enjoying it. I did not get my whip go goal accomplished, which is why I want to work on it as my bonus stitching this week. So I did get what I kind of, when I looked at it, I got mentally what I felt like it was capable of getting done in 3 days. I finished my diagonal, so that's good. This is on 28 count, Rose Monaco, 1/1, full cross. And I do have a video showing the method I'm using. It is patterned after Brian Blitzstitch's diagonal method. He has a great tutorial that shows how to do this method depending on how you make your stitches. So he usually starts in one of the bottom corners because of the way he makes his X's, which determines kind of where you come up and down in order to make this method work. Because of how I make my stitches, I need to start in the top right, I guess. I usually start in the top left, but this method has you starting has people who stitch the way I do starting in the top right. So that's how far I got, and it's really fun. I was a little discouraged to find that I have 3 more diagonals that are all hair. I kept thinking, oh, I'm so close to something. Like there's a butterfly up here, some face coming in down here, but I have 3 more 10 stitch wide diagonals before I get to anything besides hair. But the hair is pretty and it's fun to work on. So it's not bad, but it is a large chunk of the pattern in that corner. So I am hoping I got, let's see, 585 stitches done. So I did not get to 1,000 stitches. If I worked on this every day, Monday through Saturday, as bonus stitching, I can do 69 stitches a day. I'll get to my 1,000 stitch goal. So 70 stitches a day seems like a lot on this piece, but if it is becoming a problem getting to my focus piece for the day, then I might have to change that, but I'm going to try. The first few days, I'll see how that goes. If I can get 70 stitches on this, then I'll get to the end of my whip go goal by the end of the week, and I can still have my focus pieces this week. So that's good. I'm hoping that I'm going to try that. So that's why I'm not working on honeybee or my Christmas sweater kitty cat ornament this week. So I'm going to try to get this done. Because I'm happy that I got the diagonal finished, but if I can swing it, I would like to have all my full coverages have 1,000 stitches because I don't want to leave anybody behind. And I'll talk with plans later, but next year I'm going to be okay with leaving some behind and just focus on a few, because I think it'll be more freeing in the scope of the year. But this year that had been my goal, and I want to finish it. So that's my plan. And then I worked on Sampler of Stitches yesterday. I did work on April Fairy for 19 stitches on Sunday in order to get my diagonal 100% finished, because I didn't quite have enough time on Saturday night before it was time for bed. So I finished that on Sunday. I quilted on Sunday, and then I came over and worked on Sampler of Stitches. This is what this looks like by the drawn thread. And I'm pleased to report I finished PQR section, woohoo, and started on the STU section. So happy, 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 happy. Very happy with that. My goal ideally would be also to finish this year. So yeah, I'm hoping I can do that. I was looking at all the stitches for S and they all seem very reasonable. So hopefully there won't be too many tricky ones from here on out, and it'll go quick. So let's see. So here's the up close of the PQR, and I had these stitches and this one down here left to do. I got those done. And then here's the up close of the STU. You can find these on the Drawn Thread website. This one has a cute little umbrella charm. I think it's backwards in here right now, but so cute with like rain behind it. So clever. So I'm up here. I did the S and this scallop stitches right here. There's also a squirrel and a tree, you know, things like that. So I love that things are all alphabetical. And if you haven't been following me much this year, Sampler of Stitches, each letter has some stitches that start the name of the stitch, the name of the specialty stitch starts with the letter that is. So this is scallop stitch. There's it's like a spider stitch. Like there's a bunch of different things. In the R they had I don't know, it's hard to, you get the idea. Sheaf stitch, square boss, sprat's head, Spanish stitch, square herringbone, surface darning, star stitch, you know, so a bunch of different ones. You just do a little section of that one that starts with that letter. So that's pretty cool. I was gifted this as a full kit by a lovely stitching fairy, and thought this was a good year to do it. So this is 30 count custard cream linen, 1/2 full cross with all the MPIs and everything that are called for. A Veriswa 103 silk and silk pearl, as well as the MPIs. Yay! So here's the close-up of the PQR next to last time. And it turned out pretty nice. I liked how they had all the different flowers. There's lightest color flower, the medium color flower, and the darkest color flower. So that was pretty fun. And then over here, I got started on the STU section. So the S was just all regular cross stitches in dark blue, and then I did a double, 2 different colors of pink there in the scallop stitches to get that one little patch done. So pretty happy with that. It's coming along. Started the last row. So yay. So I do plan to pull this out again this coming Sunday. See how much I can get done. I'm not stopping at any, like if I finish the S, I'm just gonna keep going into the T if I have time. So I do like what I have done this past couple weeks, where I had been doing all my quilting on Sunday, and that takes time away from this. So the last couple weeks I've been cutting out the pieces midweek, and then I think even last week I sewed like on Friday, but this week I did do my sewing on Sunday because Saturday was really full. But I did cut things out on Friday. So I'm hoping to, if I can find time throughout the week to have a few minutes, I like to do that, to cut things out. And maybe the problem with sewing during the week is my husband is working from home permanently in the same room that I have my sewing machines. So I can't, it's hard to find space time in there to sew during the day because he's off and on calls all the time. So, and in the evening, I want to be stitching, not sewing. So that's why it works better on the weekend or a holiday when he's not in there working. Then I can use my sewing machine without disturbing him. Yeah, but if I can cut it out earlier in the week and then maybe sew it on Saturday, then I leave more time to work on sampler stitches on Sunday. So I went down and grabbed my quilting. I'm working out of the Scrappiness is Happiness book by Lori Holt. And Fat Quarter Shop put together a sampler quilt, basically, of all the blocks in this book. So this week I worked on the Lincoln Log block. They have 2 Lincoln Log blocks. We were working on the second one. And here's mine. So as I mentioned before, I am taking my color placement suggestions from this one, not necessarily what's in the book, so that it kind of matches the overall vision of this sampler quilt using the colors and just the fabrics that I have. So yeah, that turned out pretty nice. At first it seemed like it was going to be a little wonky, but I managed to square it up as I went, and so I think it's pretty even. So yay! Keeping up on this so far, which is really nice. I got behind 1 week, but then I got cut up again. And I've got all my blocks in my Eliza's Fantasy Bags project bag. That Lincoln Log block fits in real nice without being folded, which is great. And this coming week, I'll be working on the plaid block, which is one of these. So I'll be working on that. It looks like a fairly simple one. So I'm not sure, I don't know that I'll have time to redo my Chex Mix block this week, but they're next to each other in the quilt. We'll see. It's like frogging, you never want to do it. So anyways, so that's it. I'll hopefully get that plaid block done this week. And it's kind of small, so maybe I'll just take advantage of that and focus on my stitching a little bit more, since I shouldn't take too long to sew that one up. All right, going forward, I'll share what I'm working on this coming week. My first Fancy Lady Whip Go piece for December is Edwardian Lady by Joan Elliott. And I have 2 Joan Elliott's, I think. This one, and then the Mayday Merriment that was out of a magazine. Super pretty. She's probably my favorite one. And I have a very similar fabric. And it's, what is it? I think it's a fabric flare. It's like Fairy Mist or something. 32 count even weave. This is printed fabric, so the back is white, and the front is mottled with splotches of pink and green and yellow and whatnot. So super pretty. And that's my starting point. I have just some of her hat done. So we'll see how much I can get done in 3 days. Hopefully I can get her whole head done. That'd be awesome. Because we have some, let's see, the flowers are done. So I need to do like the inside, the bottom area of her hat and her hair and her face. So that would be cool if I could get all of that done. She's really skinny, which is nice. You know, some fancy ladies have huge dresses. So I'm hoping this one won't take an eternity, but this 3 days, I think my hope would be to get this, you know, area done. That would be great. So that's my plan for today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. And then I have plans to start a full coverage with Lisa's Stitching and Such here on Flosstube. She's also over on Instagram as well, I believe under the same handle. She hasn't made a video in a little while, but she is posting updates on a lot of her full coverage pieces that she's worked on lately over on Instagram. So if you're interested in catching up with what she's been doing, you can head over there and see lots of fun things. So I had showed this that I bought recently, like a month or two ago, and she's like, hey, I'm planning to start that for my birthday in December. You wanna join? So I hopped on that. I do enjoy starting with people. So if I have something already in my stash and someone is planning to work on it, it's like, oh, I can start that with you. That'd be fun. Same with Gracious Era that I showed earlier today. That was started last year for Terry Lee Craft's birthday. I had it in my closet. It'd been in there for over a decade. She was gonna start it. I said, sure, I'll start it with you. Might as well get it started. So I figured I'll go ahead and start this one. I have the fabric for it. I'm planning to do it on 40 count cream linen, 1/1 half cross. And because it's enormous, it is 700 by 693, so practically 700 square. It is a Max Colors version, and probably just a lot of background up here is probably all I'll get to, but ideally I would get to 1,000 stitches in the 3 days. I'm planning to slate it for Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So colorful. I love this. And I do need to cut this down because I have plans to do other things with this is a fat half, and I'll need most of this for Sunny Birds, but there will be extras that I can do some smaller full coverages on. So I'll need to cut this down to save the rest of it for those other pieces. And then I think that's all for this week. And then I'll work on sampler of stitches on Sunday. I also wanted to share a stitch along that is upcoming, or starting anytime actually. So there needs to be a hashtag, and let me know, Maggie, if there is. On Instagram, Maggie made me do it, or blame Kitschy Whips, or something. She tagged me in Instagram because she showed Christmas Elegance by Mirabilia with some fabric that she had and was like, I really want to start this. And Sarah, you really want to start this too, right? And I think somebody else, Nadine over at Nad's Cross Stitch, she's working on this. And I pointed out as well, Deb Wilson Stitches is almost done with hers. She's gorgeous. I have her kitted up with this pretty fabric along with this fairy. I have a fat half of this fabric. It is Nightshade by Color and Cotton. Super fun. This is a 32 count linen, and got lots of beads in here too. I don't know if they're all for, who they're all for, because I have both of these in the same bag, but there's more beads in here too. So, like I was saying, if I have something and somebody wants to start something, I'll say, sure, let's start it. So I did plan on, I will be good, and I'll work on my Whip Go pieces first. So this probably won't get started until the 19th, probably the Monday before Christmas. And I'll give it a few days. I was planning to work on sampler of stitches those days, but I'll work around it. So I'd like to give this at least 2 days, maybe 3, just to get a nice start. See what it looks like on this pretty fabric. I need to cut this down too, because this is a fat half intended for both of these. So I'll cut this down, get that ready. But you can start it whenever. So if you have this pattern either started or in your stash, pull it out and join us. And I don't know if there's a hashtag. Christmas Elegance Sal, probably, I don't know. I think Fiber Arts Amy was gonna pull hers out to work on. I think she's already started it. So yeah, come join us anytime. I'm not sure what day Kitschy Whips Maggie is gonna start hers, but I'll probably wait a little bit just so I can get everything else checked off and then work on this. And that'll be fun to work on Christmas week. Work on that one, and Heirloom Nativity Sampler. Maybe I could give each one of them 2 days, and because I have Heirloom Nativity Sampler down for 4 days, so I could do that for 2 days and Christmas Elegance for 2 days instead, and then still have a full complement of 9 days in December to work on sampler stitches. So I could do that. I could still fit it in. Heirloom Nativity Sampler is one that I'm thinking of focusing on a finish for next year. So I'm not going to worry about cranking out all the progress on that this year. I will bring it out to play with and work on a little bit, but I don't need 4 days on it. I will launch into craft plans, stitching plans now very briefly, because I am planning to do a video. I think that'd be fun, because as I was saying last week, I would like to focus in on finishing some smaller things, which my small things are not, I don't have very many small things. That's why I have so many things. But I'd like to focus on full coverages as well. So trying to marry those two ideas really comes down to I can't work on everything next year. So I've come to terms with abandoning the idea that I'd like to work on everything next year. I'm okay with that not everything will get touched. There's a possibility that most things will get touched, because I do have full coverage February and arbitrary August, which will be randomly drawn things for the whole month, every day. So some of the things that I wasn't necessarily going to focus on might still get a day of progress throughout the year. So because of those two events that I'm planning to do. So I would like to do a video once I get all my little ducks in a row and figure out what I want to focus on. And I want to have, I'll have a variety of like travel pieces and bonus pieces and stuff that I can share, but I would like to have 10 focus on a finish pieces and 10 full coverage pieces that I want to focus on. And I'll slot one in for each month except for February and August, because those are those randomly drawn change every day months. So then I'll show you those 20 projects plus like my bonus stitching ones that I'm going to be throwing in. And you can see what I'm planning to work on in this coming year. And if I only have 2 main focus pieces every month, that should leave enough wiggle room for stitching along with friends, either pulling from whips that I hadn't focused on to pull them out to work on for a day or two with somebody, or the occasional new start might get thrown in there. And I'm okay with that. So I thought that'd be fun to do a little video, kind of like Carolyn Sees Like Stitch did a couple weeks ago, where she showed all the things she's planning to work on in 2023 with her goals and stuff. So I thought that'd be fun. It's not really a whip parade because it's not all of my projects, and so I might wait until like that week even between Christmas and New Year's, maybe even do it then, just so that I have more time to think about what I want to work on and kind of make sure I'm happy with this plan. And so you can see things right before the new year starts. So yeah, so I think it'll be a nice way to whip down a little bit, focus on full coverage a little bit, and keep things open and flexible in case I want to participate in activities and events and stitch alongs and things like that. So it's kind of a good combo. So stay tuned for that in a few weeks. Meantime, have fun working on whatever you're working on. Enjoy the season, and there's Smokey. And happy stitching. Bye.